He live around here. The dog trainer. The old dog trainer that lives nearby. The older guy.
Because they already done it.
Yeah. Well, we all get it.
He told me about it. I said, I hope you get it.
Yeah, no.
I said,
You know what?
I sit and listen to those guys all day. Well, I know.
Oh, yeah. It's unreal.
Because they got just as good of stories as we do, and it was twice as hard to get them done because they didn't have the stuff we had.
Yeah. You know, he won the regional trials. He's married to my kids' football team.
Oh, yeah.
And after watching the live on Faith, I told him, I said, I never thought I'd feel so. But I said, holy cow. I said, someone's zipper gonna get stuck in your college, you know what I mean? He's like, call Joey, cats in the tree, call Joey.
So my first segment's about 15 minutes, and then I hit a Q&A.
Yeah.
And then the second segment is another 15 minutes, and then the second Q&A. So if you factor in some Q&A, if we start at like 6:05, we should be out of here, or at least wrapped up, and then they can come and ask me questions directly about 6:45, no later. I don't anticipate this being super long.
Just right over the fence. Right off the
Okay.
There you go.
A bunch of little ones now.
Oh, really?
Running around, bouncing around like crazy.
You're gonna swap it. We got time. Because I figure I'll give it till 6:05, and then I'll switch. Oh, so good. They'll see that they're in the right spot.
Right.
I like it. Howdy, howdy.
Hello.
How are y'all?
That camera down on my shiny spot.
It's pointed directly at it, too.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Glare.
Evening. Just like real TV.
Just like real TV.
This is my friend Julie. This is Michelle. Guys, obviously, you guys are Julia.
One day.
I was gonna text you today to see if I sent Hey, what a turnout for the new mayor. You're on the spot.
That guy's a fly.
He's like.
He is.
I
Some of
know.
that.
Is that right? So we're one there.
If it were, I bet you if it were for his wife, he would be able to.
I know, but his wife is a dandy. I know that. They're makers. They did it on their own. So, it is. When they came back, and she was in love with me.
How you holding up? It's hot, brother.
Getting started.
Water. Gracious. The next 10 days. 96, 95, 96. Probably 3-4 minutes.
Stay home.
I think some people planning, or actually planning on coming. Yes.
He knows what well.
I know. Officer.
This is my niece.
Your Honor, I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out. Off the top, I don't want to make it sound like I'm shouting at you. I just happen to have a really loud voice. So I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just that guy. Right off the top, I'd like to pray. We can bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together to look at the future of this town. May we remove ourselves, our egos, and our agendas to hear your voice and feel your touch so that we may do what you will in this town as we go forward. It has been a rough road to get here, Lord, but the future is bright, and we thank you for the opportunity that we have in you. In Christ's name, amen. Amen. Right off the top, I invited Chief Joe Sterner to join us tonight. He wanted to be here, but he's in training. So I told him in his absence, I'm gonna tip my hat to him. He's been the chief of this police force here for right around 10 years. He's got 13 years of service in Lonoke. He took a job to join the school district, and we're happy for him. we wanted to tip our hat to Joe Sterner for the commitment that he made to this town, 13 years as a first responder here, and I wanted to let him know we appreciate it. Now, we've also have a brand new police chief that is here tonight. This is Paul Robinson. I wanted everybody to see his face. We're glad to have Paul, and we're looking for great things. Paul, welcome. And if you want to have some questions for Paul, I'm sure he's willing to answer them after and go from there. If you don't know who I am, that's okay. My name is Steve Forgy, and I've been mayor for 6 weeks. I am not going to spend 20 minutes up here telling you about me. There are people missing supper, and I don't want this to drag on all night. If you have questions about me, I'm willing to answer them. Just stay after me. I'll answer every question until the last one's done. Okay? Couple of things off the top, kind of housekeeping-wise. This is a town hall meeting. It's not a city council meeting. There are city council members present, but no one is voting on anything tonight. When you have a chance to ask questions or speak, that's great. That's kind of why we're here. But if you came expecting decisions to be made about what you speak about, this is the wrong venue. The city council is where you get things voted on and get things changed. The town hall is to inform you. I'm here to tell you what's going on in this city, what the vision is, what the plan is, and talk with you about it. That's the whole reason we're at a town hall. So no voting or decisions will happen tonight. When we have a question and answer period, you're welcome to stand up and speak. The only thing I'll ask is, we can't do anything about the past. If you've got an axe to grind or a bone to pick, I'm not mad at you, okay? I'm not here to tell you you're wrong at all. But we can't do anything about this. And I'm not this guy. I'm that guy. And I got to go this way, and I can't go this way looking that way. So a lot of tonight is going to be about this. And if you want to talk to me about this, I'm all ears. Because I believe if you do not understand, acknowledge, and study the past and the history, you are doomed to repeat it. So I want to know the stories, and I want to know how you feel. But in terms of holding everybody else here to talk about the past, I feel like we can let them go have supper and you and I can have a discussion. And I'm willing to do that. Okay, I'm open to every topic, and I'll stay here all night until the last topic and question is answered. We will have 2 Q&A sessions. The first segment is about 15 minutes. And I'm betting a large stack of poker chips that if you give me that 15 minutes, I'm going to answer the questions that you have in what I'm going to tell you. Now, there may still be some more, and I'm cool with that. That's what the Q&A session is for. With a little bit of patience, you're probably going to get your question answered before we even get to the Q&A. So with that, we're going to start with the new golden rule of Lone Oak. Do not believe anything you hear and only half of what you see. This is an old adage. And it should ring true here. I love everybody. I love y'all. I love them. I love y'all. I love you watching at home. Just because you have somebody you trust that tells you they know what's going on in this city doesn't mean that they're correct. The horse's mouth, this horse, the front of him, is the way to get it, right? Come talk to me there. Stop me on the street. Come to the town hall if you want to know what's really going on. Because not everybody does, even the people that you trust. And I'm not saying they're not truthful. They may truly believe what they're telling you. I'm just simply telling you what they are saying may not be all of the story. So this is the new golden rule of Lone Oak, and I hope we all follow it. A couple of those things that I've heard and seen on social media, I want to clear up. The mayor in this town is not paid. I don't get a check. I don't get anything. I volunteered for this abuse, and I can handle it. Incidentally, the city council isn't paid either. So if you run into anybody in the community that says, oh, he's over there, just taking a paycheck, correct them. It's okay. You have that knowledge now. You can say, he's not really paid, right? I don't have a vote. The only time the mayor votes at the city council meeting is if there's a tie. And with 5 city council members, that's tough to do. So I've heard it in town. I've had people come up to me and say, well, go get him, mayor. You're the mayor. Go do something about it. I don't make change. I don't change policy. I don't have a vote. Right? We all need to know how the government works. So I'm not bringing change to this town personally. This isn't a kingdom, it's a democracy, and the city council that I work with directly is where things change and move forward. So, let's see. The next item. See, like the high-tech special effects? Good. The city of Lone Oak is separate from the fire department and is separate from the independent school district and is separate from Hunt County. If you don't like what the school's doing and you come to a city council meeting, we're going to nod and smile and then go, thank you, school district staff. If you go to the school board meeting and you complain because the city's doing something silly, they're going to smile and nod and say, city council meeting's on second Tuesday. Hit it, right? So we all need to understand what's going on over there. And even right across here, right, the fire department has its own decision-making process and budget. In Hunt County, all that property tax that you send to Hunt County doesn't come to Lone Oak. A little bit comes to Lone Oak, and we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. This separation is something that I wanted to clear up for anybody out there or on social media who may have the wrong idea. We love you, but this is the structure. All right. So, Steve, since you don't vote, what do you do? I have two jobs. Improve the roads and attract businesses. I have two jobs. This job is 2 years. I was elected, I have 2 years, I got two jobs. I'm heavily focused on these. This is my absolute laser focus, okay? Notice I said, improve the roads and not fix them. It's a sticking point. And I know there's not a road in this town that looks good. Okay? I can't go here. I can go here. Why can't you fix the road, Steve? Well, we got two other issues. The drainage in this town cuts across many of the roads in this town. It ain't right. The drainage in this town has to be fixed before we fix the roads. The other piece is the clay pipes that are 115 years old underneath this city are weak. So why would anyone pay and fix a road knowing they're going to have to dig up that expensive material to fix a broken clay pipe from 1920? So what are we doing about it? Okay. The first week I was elected, I sat down with our Public Works Director, Corey Miller, and he told me his plan for drainage. As you leave today, bring those fancy phones up here and take pictures of now and in the future. There's a plan. He had a plan. He's been working on a plan. Now, y'all haven't heard the plan because there hasn't been a lot of communication, and I'm cool with that. That's why we're here. We have a drainage plan that I believe we can execute probably by the end of this calendar year. Now, that might be aggressive, and if Corey were here, he may throw something at me. I don't know. But I feel like with what he showed me, right, this is where the water flows now, and it cuts across roads and all over the place. He's got a plan here using colors where he's digging ditches and adding culverts and directing the rainwater where it needs to go so it doesn't destroy our roads. So there is a plan, and that's it. Secondly, with the pipes. Fixing pipes under the city costs a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We ain't got it. However, Celeste, the city of Celeste, just got a $500,000 grant to fix the pipes under their city. Guess what we're going after? That same grant is now $750,000. We are working with a grant group right now because the grant process takes a long time. That's not something that happens in a month or even 6 months. But if we get in front of it now, and we work with the grant group to make sure all of our T's are crossed and I's are dotted, we've got a good chance of winning that grant. And we're going after it. At the same time, we're doing the drainage plan. Right? So we have a drainage plan to fix the first issue. We're going after grant money to fix the second issue. But in the meantime, we're not waiting to improve the roads. Right? we're not waiting to do the improvement. In fact, we've already started. Last week, Corey and Wayne and I resurfaced Eder, South Windsor, St. John, and Lone Oak Streets. When I was elected, the road fund, the ongoing road fund had $50,000. We just spent $6,000 on materials mainly to get those roads resurfaced. If you haven't seen them and you've got a chance to go look, okay, by the end of August, in 9 weeks' time, every gravel or what we would call dirt structured roads in this city will be complete under this plan. We'll say that again. If you know of a gravel or dirt style road in this town, it's going to be resurfaced by the end of August. Now, that leaves us, so at that point, we're going to halt and see how much money we have left so that we can then attack the chip sealed roads or the asphalted roads, right? The ones that have some type of surface on them, because those cost more. What we're trying to do with this plan is we're impacting as many roads as we can with the budget and the money that we have. Action, right? Getting stuff done. So that is what's going on right now. We're not waiting on the other two. All three of these plans are going on at the same time. At this point, from a road perspective, I'd like to pause and field any questions that you might have. Yes, sir.
I bought the 5 acres out here where Boots Barber Shop was.
Yes, sir.
And that was one of the things I was coming here about drainage.
Yes.
I've spent a lot of money cleaning out the creek, hauled about 600 loads in there, building the place up. On Cherry Street, I took out the old pipes and everything so it could drain through there because there was only that much at the top the water could go through.
Yep.
The rest of it was jumping the street.
Yep.
I built Cherry Street up some on both ends.
Nice.
And the city, the pipe laying out there was really bought to go in there, but then they backed out.
Okay.
And I understand they're on the budget and everything.
If you don't mind me writing a couple of notes, these are things that I'm going to need to follow up on.
Okay.
Because Corey's not here.
And I've talked to Corey. Corey just told me that the old mayor, for some reason or other, backed out on it, decided he'd use them somewhere else.
So we had pipes in hand,
Them two sitting right out by.
the ones that are still in hand.
They were
okay?
originally not to go in the road up there
And they were originally set to go
on Cherry Street.
on Cherry Street. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so I will follow up on that. That's a great question. We'll
All
come
right.
back to you once I,
In Division Street,
yes.
some people have filled the ditch in to get in the back.
Right.
That's making it jump the road.
Yes.
I talked to the county.
Yeah.
They said that they couldn't do it for me, but if the city asked, they could clean them ditches out down through there.
Well, that's a great little piece of information.
If we can get them ditches cleaned out, I'll furnish the rock to go from 513 to Cherry Street.
We asked real nice.
But there's no use in me doing it
Absolutely.
if I can't get the others done.
But you can't do it all yourself.
Well,
And you're going to hear, we're going to touch on this, but my terminology for folks like you and others in the room is angel. We need angels. You're going to hear me say that in just a little bit, but we need
I even
guys
told
like you.
Corey we'd help on the drainage from town
Yep.
on out, whatever we can do.
All right.
And,
So I will jump on this. I appreciate you.
all right.
Yep.
Well, let me just give you my name and number.
Yep. Go ahead.
And I'll be on my way. This is Earl Smith,
Gotcha.
903
Yes, sir.
456
Yes, sir.
2728.
Got it.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate you.
All right. Appreciate it.
Definitely appreciate the commitment you've made in this town.
All right.
Because I ain't going nowhere. We need angels. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Next question. Anybody? Yes, sir.
Knowing that you live out there where I do,
Yes, sir.
on this drive,
Yes, sir.
what in the future is actually fixed as far as the road is concerned?
So he's asking about Mesa. Mesa happens to be the road that I live on. The city nor the county owns that road normally, and you know this, we all know this because we've had 1,000 meetings about this road, and it's not great, it's bad road. Most of the time, and you'll hear this again when we get to another segment of tonight's meeting, the plat of your property stretches to the middle of the road in front of your house. That's how the drawings that go into the county files look. There's a little line in the middle of the road, and yours actually goes to the middle of the road. Not on Mesa. Mesa's interesting. The road never, the plat plan never got to that far. It stops at the curb, so that the county and the city are handcuffed because volunteer officials like myself and the city council cannot spend city money on something that the city doesn't own. That's called misappropriation of funds, and somebody could go to jail for a volunteer job. We're not going to do that. So here's the plan in place right now. I am trying to spearhead as a resident of the street using materials that I receive separately from the city, most of which for free, which is why it's taken so long. We need to build that road up to a standard that is acceptable to the city, and then we need to present it to the city one more time. I don't blame the city for not accepting that road, and I don't think anybody else here would. That you can't just take a road that needs that much care, as a city. But once we get it to a level that is a standard, a basic standard that the city would approve, then they could take it over, and then we could become just like every other street in the city and fall under the city's jurisdiction. I will tell you this. There is a special meeting coming up where we are entertaining an offer. I am recused from these types of meetings because I live on the street. But more information will be coming out about a possible avenue to help pay for some of this buildup. But until that meeting happens and we get the results back, I don't have any information as to, I can't tell you definitively. Does that make sense? There is a plan. We're going to have to build it up ourselves, basically, to get it to that standard so that we can offer to the city. So that's Mesa. It's a unique situation within the city. Next question. Yes, ma'am.
So I saw you, was it Saturday?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were filling the holes, which is wonderful, but at what point is it going to be more than just filling the holes?
So we have to get through, because we're able to impact more roads with the money we have, we're going after the gravel and dirt roads first, because they also deteriorate faster. Once we get all of those done, which is the end of August, we will then be able to reevaluate our position, how much money we have, and start the plan for the paved roads like College. In the meantime, it's going to be filling those holes, and when it rains, if they get washed out again, we're just going to have to keep coming back to make things to where people don't hurt their cars, right? But that's the plan. We want to impact as many roads as we can for the city to impact as many people as we can positively, and then reevaluate our budget. Possible help from the county. We've got new management coming into the county soon. So these are the kinds of things we're looking forward to so that we can collaborate and hit those main streets like that. Because they're the longer ones and they're paved with chip seal or asphalt. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Oh, that's good.
You know where a lot of that water comes from?
Yes.
It comes up the school districts. It comes through my
And has been for a long time, right? Yeah, tired of it. I get it.
I've got a picture of steps that come down from the backyard.
And it runs down that street.
Yep.
It runs down that street like a river ran through it in that movie or something. So as much as the city can, on city property, that drainage plan will try to relieve some of that, but that's also going to need to be a collaboration possibly with the school district, which I'm looking forward to cultivating. I'm a straightforward guy, I'm very honest. Our relationship with the school district has suffered recently. Part of my purview is to improve that. I want to work well with the county, I want to work well with the fire department, school district, everybody. We all need to work together. And so that's on my agenda as well, secondary to the big two, of course. But working together with them to try to get a remedy of that absolutely will not only help our road, but it will help your yard. Right?
Very good.
Yes, ma'am.
I know at one time, the prisoners at Hunt County were able to come down and do some work. I don't know if that's still a possibility, but maybe they could help with some of the drainage issues and all. I mean, I don't know, it's just.
Absolutely.
I know they
could.
could do that. So
They could.
it's
Also,
free labor,
community service
right.
folks looking for hours. These are things that we're pursuing through the county. Just like the school district, we are hopeful and looking forward to a bright future of a better relationship with the county folks as well. I'll leave it at that. Yes, ma'am.
Can we ask questions that aren't about roads?
In a minute. We've got a second Q&A session coming up. I want to keep it on roads now so that we kind of change gears, if that's all right. Any more questions about roads? And everybody kind of gets it. Please don't hesitate to pass this information along to those in the community that might not have the full story, right? You attended this meeting, you're watching this meeting. If you hear somebody that's got the wrong idea, don't be afraid to correct them, right? You got it straight from the horse's mouth, so. All right. So my second major goal is to attract businesses. We need businesses, okay? I'm going to touch on a few things when it comes to this. I'm going to put this up here, again, with the fancy special effects. This will all be up here for you to take pictures of on your way out, okay? I'm going to start this segment off by talking about taxes, okay? Everything that everybody pays for out of our household income is increasing in price. Prices are going up. That's not any different for the city. Things that the city has to provide and pay for is rising, okay? The difference between the city and many of us is the city only gets revenue from taxes and fees. That's it. Now, the first thing folks default to when it comes to taxes is their property taxes, because they're high and it's a big number. And you're like, I pay a lot of money. Why aren't I seeing the city do more for me? I'm here to explain that. The money that we all pay, and I say we, because I'm the mayor and the city council, we all live in the city too. We live next to y'all. The money we pay for our property taxes goes to Hunt County. The city of Lone Oak gets a sliver of that. This right here on the left side is a map. It's a little spreadsheet of different cities and tax rates for Hunt County. Lone Oak's combined tax rate is 0.347. 0.347 per $100 of value. Let me explain to you what that means. For every $100 of value, Lone Oak gets 3.47 cents. So that means if it's $1,000, it's 34.7 cents. For every $10,000 of value, Lone Oak gets $3.47. We're simply moving the decimal as we climb the ladder here. Okay? So you can go all the way up to $1 million. $1 million of value from a combined area in Lone Oak. Nets Lone Oak $3,470 per year. How much does $3,470 pay for?
Not much.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to throw a bigger number at you and a more realistic number. And I could be wrong, and I'm going to call on Wes to make sure that I don't screw up here. Okay? I think it's safe to assume that inside the city limits of Lone Oak, if you took all of the property value and added it together, you're probably going to come up with a number around $40 million. When you multiply that by 0.347 per 100, which is actually 0.00347, you take 40 million times 0.00347, you end up with a number around $160,000. Now, a lot of the folks in this town would go, hey, that's great. That paves a lot of roads. And you'd be right. If roads were the only thing the city had to pay for. It's not. We have 9 employees with benefits. We have a light bill. We have a water bill. We just had a condenser go out on an air conditioner. Right? There's a curveball for you. We got to pay for stuff. So, property taxes are great. Well, for the city, not for the rest of us. But that's a small portion of what this budget, the city budget, looks like. Where the city would get more money from taxes is through sales tax. We need businesses. So now I'm going to switch gears and put the business hat on. How do businesses decide when they come to a town like Loma? First of all, they have this fancy equation that determines, that is based on the number of people that are in the town. If you don't have enough people, right out of the gate, we're not coming. No Taco Bell, no Whataburger, no Chick-fil-A, no Pizza Hut. You ain't got enough people to support the way they do business, they are not looking. And right now, Lone Oak's not big enough. However, when those homes come in Mallard Point, some of these homes in town get populated, guess whose equations are going to start popping green? They're going to start coming. They already are, if you listen to the EDC and maybe go to one of the meetings. So what is the second criteria that restaurants use to figure out if they want to come to Lone Oak? They drive around the town. So ladies and gentlemen, I have two jobs. Improve the roads and attract businesses. Which means Lone Oak needs to become attractive. This is a sore subject, and I'm well aware of it. But I carry no emotion and no ego. I only care about elevating this town and helping us all pay fewer taxes in the long run, right? Improving this town. Because without the adequate amount of revenue from taxes and fees, Lone Oak is threatened with the concept of not making it. Now, is this something that I'm saying, oh my gosh, it's going to happen tomorrow? No, I'm not. But we all pass through what used to be Dixon on the way to Greenville, don't we? We all hear stories from points south of here. I'm not trying to be nasty. Here's my philosophy. It would be a terrible shame if we allowed this town to dry up based on the names and the families that are laying in the cemetery yards away from where I'm standing right now. The sacrifices that were made to establish this town by people that don't even share my last name. I've chosen this town. I'm going nowhere. But if we let this town falter, the only way I know how to describe it is it's a slap in the face to the family names on which we stand. I don't want to see it happen. So how do we get better? How do we make this happen? All right. We got to get a little more attractive. And just like everything else, I have a plan. It's already started. This is the mural. This is the digital image of the mural that's going on the side of the pizza shop at 211 Katy.
It looks really good.
It's probably 70% complete. This is what it's going to look like. This right here, come on up after the meeting, take a picture. It says Lone Oak, Texas, established 1853. It's got a lone oak tree, Texas flag, windmill, bluebonnets, and a stampeding herd of buffalo. And this cost the city $0. This is not coming out of city pocket. It is not maintainable by the city. There is no obligation to the taxpayers of this town for this. We got that free. The second thing, you see these are the curbs and esplanades out on 69. And I'll step over here so y'all can see it as well. Come on up after the meeting and snap pictures. I am working with DOT right now, and they are deliberating on whether they can do this for us, and the outlook is good. So what would this mean? That means DOT would paint that curb out there, concrete it, and paint it. All Lone Oak as a city would have to do is maintain it. Buy the paint and find some angels to roll it out once every 15, 18 months.
Now, is that on 69?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Those are the curbs right out here. My daughter did a digital image of that, and that is what I've proposed to DOT. And they're not only considering it, I've been told, I don't want to make any promises because he didn't make me any, but I've been told the outlook is good. And even if they don't, I'm not mad at anybody. We're going to make this happen. Okay? So these are items that are very low cost to the city. Why? Because we don't have any money. I mean, we do, you know what I mean? We don't have any extra money. I shouldn't say we don't have any extra money to spend on things like this when our roads are the way they are. Right? I get it. So we're finding ways to beautify the city. The third way that we have to beautify the city is individually. If you own land in the city of Lonoke, we need you to take care of it. There comes a responsibility when you own property. And by take care of it, I mean let's understand the ordinances of the city. Again, I've been on for 6 weeks. I haven't changed the rules, y'all. I haven't brought any new rules. The city council hasn't voted on any new rules. We have ordinances in this town. We got to start following. And I'm going to lay this out there because I've said it to folks that have asked me. Y'all, I'm the bad guy either way. If I don't enforce the rules that are on the books, the citizens that are doing their part and handling their property are mad at me. If I enforce the rules, the folks that don't want me to enforce the rules are mad at me. I'm the bad guy either way. There are also some very sensitive issues of this town, and I'm not insensitive to the human condition. However, there are homes in this town that are dangerous. They're falling down. Once again, I'm the bad guy either way. If I don't do anything and that house collapses and somebody gets hurt, I didn't do enough. If I do step in and have to be at least the force behind something changing, I'm perceived as the bad guy there too. My goal, if I'm going to be the bad guy anyway, y'all, I'm going to be the bad guy that improves the town as a whole. But I want everybody to know, and this is important, this is probably the most important part of this whole segment. I'm not coming at you with flame torches and pitchforks. My approach is this. First, I needed to let everyone know we are going to enforce the code of this town. We are. But it's not with a hatchet, and it's not with threats. I'm not standing here threatening anybody. There are issues in this town. There are ordinances to be followed that we will cover. The first thing you're going to hear from me after tonight's announcement is I'm going to come to you directly, not publicly, not with shame. If there's an issue, I'm going to come ask, hey, what can I do to help you with this situation? And this is where we need angels. I need angels. I need folks that are willing to do things on their own time every once in a while. Is it a 5-hour commitment? Of course not. But we have people in this town that need help picking themselves up in terms of these ordinances. And you're going to hear me call for angels. I'll say this. If you cannot help, or you look at me tonight and going forward and you don't want to help me, you don't like me, I'm not mad at you. Again, I don't come into this job with emotion. It has nothing to do with that. If you don't want to help or cannot help, it's okay. Everybody can't be a volunteer. The only thing I ask is, don't be part of the problem. If you see trash, let's pick it up. Even if you didn't throw it down. If you've got a weed eater, and you've got it, and you see this needs to get handled, why not? It takes 20 minutes. I don't have any money to give you. I could possibly work up a certificate situation where I can hand you a certificate signed by the mayor of Lonoke. What I will promise you is, in these town hall meetings, I will recognize angels. Terry Bowman is an angel of this town. Hands down. Goes above and beyond because she cares. Not everybody can do that. I get it. Right? Gordon is an angel of this town. he's sitting here on his own time with his own equipment to make sure that this message gets out to a live stream of the citizens of this town that couldn't make it here tonight. And I know they're not the only two. If I'm missing somebody in here, I apologize. But I will structure these meetings to have a point at the beginning to make sure we recognize the angels of this town, because we will not rise without them. And angels provide materials, they provide time, that they pick up trash, they paint a curb, they trim trees, fill potholes. Right? And I'm willing to organize all this. But we're going to have some angels. And it's okay. It's okay if, it's all right if this town has hurt you. I get it. It's okay. And I'm not mad at you. But I am going to ask for help. And I'm going to go one more step on this and recognize the fact that even in this room, there could be people that don't like each other. I don't care. I don't care. I love both of you. And there are people in this room right now that know this about me. I'm friends with the Hatfields and the McCoys. And when I talk to the McCoys, I don't say anything about the Hatfields, and I don't tell them anything, even if I'm told things about the McCoys from the Hatfields. And when I'm with the Hatfields, we don't discuss the McCoys, and I'm not trying to hear it. I don't care. Y'all need to work that out. But I can stand right here with a Hatfield here and a McCoy here if we're going that way with a shovel and a paintbrush and a saw for this town. I don't care. So we can all get over it. A rising tide lifts all boats. And that is my philosophy for this town. So, back to code. Yes, we're going to enforce code. But it's not fire and brimstone. It's going to be Steve first. How can I help? How can I organize angels to help this one time while you figure out how we're going to do this? Right? If you own property in this town and you're listening online and you're in this room, you have a responsibility. We're going to ask you to hold it up. If you run a business and you're using your yard as your storage yard for materials, you're probably going to see my face. If you have busted down buildings in your property that are dangerous and piles of rubbish and rubble, you're going to see my face. And again, I'm not coming harshly, and I'm here to help as best I can. But with property ownership comes responsibility, and that is what I'm here to make sure happens. It's my job. This is my job, and I've got 2 years to complete it. If after 2 years, anyone in this room or online would like to run, okay. But right now, this is the vision that Lone Oak is going to carry. We have to, whether I'm the bad guy or not. So having said that, I want to just do one quick summary, and we'll get to more questions. Taxes are only going up. Lone Oak has one of the lowest tax rates in the region. I had a couple of old gentlemen come into my pizza shop and try to tell me we had the highest taxes. And I hadn't looked at it yet. This was before the election, and I believed them. We don't. We don't. We have some of the lowest taxes in this entire region, but taxes are only going up. How do we slow this down? We have more residents paying the current tax rate, and we get more businesses to give us sales tax. That's how we have the money to hit the roads the right way. That's how we have the money to make sure drainage happens and whatever else needs to happen on roads that the city may or may not end up voting to take in, right? These problems are solved with that kind of money, and so that all of us at the dinner table right now don't pay more for the meat we're eating. We need more people to come sit with us, or more sales tax, right? How do we do that? We put a dress on, we wash our hair, we mow our lawns. We clean up a little bit, right? The city has a couple of things going. This right here is important because it outlines the rules, the ordinance about yards. For those of you that can't see it online and you don't have the ability to come take a picture, I'll summarize it for you. Grass is not supposed to be above 12 inches. And you are responsible for your property to the street. That ditch and culvert does not belong to the city. The ditch and culvert belongs to the property owner. That's the ordinance. It's right there. I've been on 6 weeks. I didn't make this up. It's already there. I'm simply the guy that says we got to look at it and work together to make it happen. So with that said, any questions about code enforcement or any other topic besides roads?
Well, you answered my question about coding, things like that, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
But as far as to the culvert, does that mean the people that live at the end of Mesa have to take care of them?
Around the corner to the highway?
Yeah.
The highway actually belongs to the county. Right, the tech stop. They actually came and mowed it the other day. So no, if you're in the city and you have a corner property that has a stop sign and some of those electrical boxes, that's yours. That's yours. I've only noticed a couple of properties in town where the ditch has been left alone, but the rest of the yard has been mowed. The ditch has to be mowed too. And if you were told differently, I apologize. It's right there.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I have a comment.
Oh,
And Mary Green will back me up on this, won't you, Mary? Okay, right across from the funeral home, there are several buildings that have been taken down, and I've talked with Mary on numerous occasions about this. Because there's a business right across from it, and it's got to be suffering. Because, I said, you could do what's called a controlled burn.
not possible.
It's not.
Unfortunately, the Environmental Protection Agency will not allow you to burn that pile of rubble in its current form
Got it.
because of the treatments and other elements in there. I've got nodding from the fire department. They understand where I'm coming from. So,
Well, how is it going to be handled? I guess that's my
that's
next
what I was just
question.
saying. Tonight is like the starter's gun. I needed to come publicly tonight to let everybody know that we have to look at the ordinances and we have to enforce code, right? So this is the starter's gun. The next step is, and I made the announcement a second ago, if you own property in this town and you have torn down buildings or rubble of any kind, I will be coming to talk with you about solutions. Not to be accusatory and not to scare you or threaten you. That's not my position. But we have to have a conversation. Beyond the conversation, that's where procedure kicks in. Then notices are given. You have 10 days to comply. Without complicity, we move on to legality, which is, I don't want to go there. For those of you watching live, I don't want to go there. That's not my goal. However, because I'm the bad guy either way, we have to have the discussion and then we have to follow the procedure. Responsibility is responsibility and we all hold it. So there's a process in place that we will follow if we get to that point, and I'm hoping we do.
And so if we have an issue, and I've had to deal with this before, my husband and I owned a piece of property directly behind our home. We sold it, and we always maintained it and mowed it and kept it nice. But, and I think Gordon knows this, but right now it's in really bad shape. It's gonna have to be mowed. Do I just need to come to see you directly and let you know, or who do I need to tell?
You don't need to tell anybody because we already have a code enforcement team that will notice.
Okay,
When a piece of property is owned by someone who doesn't live here, we will send them the correct notices. We will make those phone calls. We will let them know, okay, it is in our purview to mow that and then send them the bill. And if they don't pay the bill, then there are other aspects that we can follow in the way of liens on property that we can. So we're going to have a system of code enforcement that will recognize that. We're going to go through the procedure. I'm going to call those people. We're going to send them notices so that we can say it's not going to happen overnight unless they respond quickly. If they don't respond or a resolution cannot be found, we will mow it and we will charge them.
okay, it's directly behind my property.
Know exactly the one you're talking about. Yes, ma'am. Of course. Is any of this, sometimes I worry that I'm not as clear as I want to. Is this following, you're able to follow kind of where the philosophy is and where the direction of the town is going? Oh, I thought you were waving because you had a question.
I know.
Okay, well then I'll say this, two things. Coming up in July, we have a cleanup loan day where we have the dumpsters available. We're going to have flyers. You're going to see this. It's going to be mid-July. Okay?
The date, you don't know?
It's I believe it's right there mid-July 19th-ish, around there, but you'll have flyers. You'll have
Saturday?
Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
You'll have plenty of notes. The one thing I didn't say that was from my notes, we talked about grass, we talked about the rubble. At no time is living room furniture acceptable in the front yard. But I do feel the need to cover this. I don't expect us to be Plainer. I don't expect us to be Highland Park or even Caddo Mills or Fate. We're Lone Oak, Texas, and you're looking at a guy. I want everybody at home to listen to what I'm about to say. You're looking at a guy who doesn't mind tacky. I don't. I like yard art. But think about this. If you've got a piece of old farm equipment in your front yard, and the grass around it is manicured and weed eaten, when somebody drives by, that sends a message that says, that is supposed to be there. That is yard art. If that same piece of farm equipment from 1875 has 1 foot or 3 foot grass around it, that sends the message of neglect. I don't mind yard art. I don't mind tacky. We can't have trashy if we want to attract, right? And there's a fine line. I get it. But these are the items that we're going to have to discuss, and every person who owns property in this town is going to have to take up their own responsibility and make this happen. But we're also willing to help with Angels. That's where I come in. It's part of my job. I'm going to do my job. So, last thing I'll say is this. This is the last golden point that everybody needs to understand. You will only get 2 responses from me on Facebook. These are the 2 responses that you can expect from me. Number 1, thank you. You're an angel of this town. What you're doing for this town is amazing. Same thing I told this gentleman. Well done. Awesome. Thank you. That's one response on Facebook that you'll see from me. The only other response that you will see from me, no matter how nasty the post is this. You are misinformed. You need more information. Please come to the next town hall meeting dated here. That's it. I will not be drug into Facebook. I will not correct anybody on Facebook. I'm going to rely on the constituents of this city to correct those who need to be corrected. And I will grant information at the town hall meetings, but I will not respond on Facebook. I won't do it. There's plenty of information available. It's on the website. It's now in these town hall meetings to be held every 3 months. Or you can always stop me on the street. I'm the guy in the shorts and the tennis shoes, weed eating people's yards that aren't even mine. I'm the guy with buckets filling potholes on my free time on a Saturday morning because I'm not asking any angel of this town to do something I'm not willing to do. And I'm committed. I'm not going anywhere. Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Come take pictures. If you want any pictures of the awesome visual effects, the massive.
You were crystal clear.